I guess so. Yesterday we created this program, right? Using type structure. Using type structure with required fields. If you define a work area or internal table with reference to a table, what will happen? This work area or internal table will refer to all the fields of the table. If the table contains 200 fields, this work area or internal table will also contains 200 fields, right? But usually we don't use all of them in our programs. Usually we don't need all the fields of the table in our functionalities, right? So we use only few fields of the table. How can you use them? How can you define work area and internal table only for the selected fields? By using type structure. So you can define a type structure with required fields and define internal table and work area with reference to this type structure name. Now your work area and internal table will contain only these fields which are required. Okay. Here I have used character integer data types, but in general you can use data elements. Okay, clear? Also we have observed append and insert statements. And what are the other important syntaxes? We have observed sort, sorting of data, sorting internal table, sorting the order of the records, right? In ascending or descending. What is the default sort order?
Ascending.
Ascending. Ascending is the default sort order. If you don't provide anything, that is ascending. If you want to sort it by descending, you need to provide descending. You can use these different sorting options for individual fields. You can sort one field by ascending and other field by descending.
Descending.
Like that, you can use multiple fields. Depends on your requirement. For example, there is an internal table with records employee ID and their salary. Employee ID and their salary. Now, if you sort by employee ID, it will align all the records in the order of employee ID, like employee ID 100, 101, 102, 103, like that. If you sort it ascending. But when you sort it by employee ID and salary, both fields, what will happen? It will sort the records by combination of these two fields. Okay? Combination of these two fields. Clear? Now, what is the other statement? Delete adjacent duplicates. What is the use of this statement?
Remove the duplicate records.
Yeah, it will delete the duplicate records from the internal table. Okay. Again, duplicate in the sense the entire record might be duplicate. That means all the values of the two records are same. Let's say there are 5 fields in each record. All the 5 fields values are same in both records. Then that is a duplicate record. That is one scenario, right? And if you check by employee ID and the rest of the fields are different, rest of the fields are different, rest of the 4 fields are different, but only employee ID is common. In that case, if you are considering only employee ID, then that is also a duplicate record. Okay. For example, if you want to find duplicate records by employee ID and city, then what you need to check? First, you need to sort by employee ID and city, and you need to delete adjacent duplicates from comparing employee ID and city. Here, employee ID might repeat, right? Then that is not a duplicate record. But when employee ID and city both are repeating for multiple records, then that is a duplicate record, right? So depends on our requirement. We use fields to identify the duplicate records. Okay. If you compare, here we are using specific fields. Comparing all fields means both records should contain same values for all the fields. Then it will delete those records. If there is any one field difference, it's not going to delete. Okay, that's what comparing all fields. But when you are comparing by specific fields, first you need to sort the records by those two fields or three fields, and then you need to provide those fields here. Which record it will delete? Which record it will delete? Let's say there are three duplicate records. First position, second position, and third position. Three duplicate records are there. When we apply delete adjacent duplicate records, which record will be deleted? Is it in the first position or is it in the second and third position?
Second and third position.
Second and third position records will be deleted, and the record which is in first position will be as it is. Okay. This is an interview question. Everyone clear, right? About
Yes.
sort and delete adjacent duplicates. Now, you can also delete internal table records by using some condition. Let's say I want to delete a internal table record where marks are blank. I don't want that record to be displayed in the output. The record which doesn't contains marks value. I am commenting this for 100. I'm commenting this for 100. Marks value I am not populating. Now what is my requirement? I don't want to consider the records with no marks. Okay, what you need to do then? We'll remove that record from my internal table. But here, by using delete adjacent duplicates, we are able to delete the duplicate records. But what is our current requirement? We need to delete a record based on specific condition. For example, there is no marks. We don't need to display that. We have to delete that from internal table. Or marks less than 35. I don't want to consider. Marks less than 35. I don't want to consider. I want to delete that. How can you delete based on some condition from internal table? By using delete internal table name where marks is initial. Please observe carefully. Is initial. What is initial means? Is initial means empty. If marks value is empty, then delete that record. Whatever the record that contains empty field for marks, what you need to do? You need to delete. This is the statement we use. Otherwise, what is the alternative? Where marks equal to, what is the type of this marks? Integer, right? If you use equal to 0, it won't work. Okay, you have to use is initial only. Then what it will do? It will delete all the records wherever the marks value is empty. Right? Let me write one more condition. Delete from internal table where marks are less than 35. less than 35. You can also use it. Different conditions. You are familiar with the if statements, right? How to use less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Here also you can apply same condition by using where. By using which one? Where. By using where you can apply some condition. Okay. Do we need to sort to use this delete statement? Do we need to use sort to apply these delete statements using where condition? That is not necessary. Okay. That is not necessary, but it is recommended. But when we are using delete adjacent, it is mandatory to sort the internal table. Okay. Clear? Let me keep a breakpoint and execute. Sort statement is already executed. Okay. Sort statement is already executed. Now record should be in sorted order. How 60 got marks? I have commented that, right? 50. Oh, look, someone added here, I think. There is one more statement. There is one more statement for marks. Let me delete it in the debugging mode. Please observe carefully how to change values in debug mode. How to change values in debug mode for your testing, right? For your testing, how to change values in debug mode. Double click on the internal table. Let's say I want to manipulate this value. Double click on that field. Click on the pen symbol. Remove the value or provide the new value. Click on enter. Now value will be updated. Now go back. I'll make one value as less than 35. Which one? Maybe this one. Less than, maybe I'll use 34. I changed the value to 34. Now let's see how delete statements will work. This will delete the duplicates. It did not delete. It did not delete the duplicates. Why? Because I changed the values. I changed the values after sort statement. That's why it did not delete. Now observe the delete statements. Now observe the delete statement where marks is initial. Initial means empty. Initial means empty. Not initial means is not initial. What does that mean? Not initial means there is some value. Okay. Initial means there is no value. Is not initial means there is some value. We are going to use frequently these statements. Okay. Please remember. Now that statement is going to be executed. Now this should be deleted. F5 100 is deleted because no marks available for that. Now what is the other condition? Where marks less than 35. How many records are there? One record is there. This one. That should be deleted. F5. I'm pressing F5 or this one function F5. That is deleted. Right? Now we don't have records with empty marks value and marks less than 35. Yes? Is everyone clear? How to use delete statements on internal tables? Clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm creating this program in 2022 today. Now, so we have all the basics which are helpful in writing programs on database tables, including sort, delete edges and duplicates, deleting the internal table records, and we have seen if statements, case statements, and also we have observed where condition, right? We have observed where condition. Now we have all the basics to work with the database tables. Let's create a program. First, let's find some tables to select the data with like few tables with proper data. What is the transaction code to check the table data?
S11.
S11 is the data dictionary. Here, there is one more transaction code. There is one more transaction code to check the data, to check the table data. Mostly functional consultants will frequently use those transaction codes to check the data inside the table.
SC16N.
Yeah, SC16N. We have SC16. We have SC16. Here also you can check the data. KNA1. But what is the difference? It is just a data browser. Here you can just check the table data. You cannot create the new tables. You cannot create the new data elements, new domains, right? It is not a development transaction code like SC11. In SC16, you can just display the data, what is available in the table. That's it. Okay. But in SC11, you can create the tables, you can create the data elements, domains, right? And along with that, you can also display the data. But SC11 is a development transaction code. Only developers will have access mostly. But in development environment, everyone will have access. But when it is in production environment, SC11, we don't have access for SC11. We like mostly they won't provide access for SC11 in production systems. To check the table data, which one we need to use? SC11, SC16, or we have one more transaction code, SC16N. We can use both transaction code to display the data, to just check the data. Okay, clear? It is slow. Anyway, now, so this is the data. Okay, here you can only display the data. Let's find some table. Set demo employee. We have a table. Let's check the data inside it. Do we have any records or not? We have some records, but inconsistent record. There is no data for few of the fields. I don't know who made employee name as primary key. Yeah, that can be, but anyway, I'll do one thing. I'll copy this table and create some records in it. Maybe let's find other table. I. Okay, I did not find any proper table with data. Let me copy this table and we'll create data in it. Local object, change it. I'm removing this as a primary key because I don't want employee ID as a primary key. I'm activating the table because I copied it, right? I copied it from the other table, right? That's why I don't need to maintain technical settings. Whatever the technical settings available will be automatically applied to this. Let's create some data. Maybe I'm not creating the maintenance table maintenance generator now. For now, I'll just maintain some data here. 100, 101. Okay, let's keep it as it is. City. One zero two. I'll use different city. 103. Use 104. Same city. Okay, these records are enough for us for our program. How many records are there? Okay. So now observe, if you compare it by employee ID, how many records for each employee ID? Only one record by each employee ID. By employee name also, these are unique, but there is a typo. By mistake, I've used the same description. But check by city. I will filter these records by city. Here you can see the filter option. Filter. I will filter the records by city. That is Hyderabad. How many records are there? If you filter the records by Hyderabad, 2 records. But if you filter the records by employee ID, how many records you can find? 1 record for each employee, right? So here we are applying some filter, right, to check the data. But in program level, how can we filter the data? By using where condition. By using where condition. Let's see how to write where conditions and select statements using like we use where conditions in select statements. Let's create a program. Okay. executable program. Click on save. These are very important. Please concentrate. So before creating a program, I'll just give you some brief overview on the select statements. Now observe this picture. So let's assume we have a table, employee data table with 4 fields: employee ID, employee name, phone, and city. Employee ID is the primary key of the table. Let's assume employee ID is the primary key of that table. Now, when I am selecting the data, if I want only a single record, a specific record, which statement I use to select the data from a database table? I use select statements. Right? But to select only a specific record from the table, which statement we use? Select single.
Select single.
Select single. By using select single, what you are saying? Hey, there are many records in the table, but I want only that specific record. I know which record I need. At the time, which statement you need to use? Select single. Select single. Okay. For example, let me go to the table data. Observe this. Actually, the filter is applied. Let me remove the filter. Delete the filter. Now it will display all the records. Now, if you are using select single, and you are using a condition where city equal to Hyderabad, can you find a single record?
No.
No.
No, sir.
There are multiple records by city. One or more records. There is a chance of multiple records, right? If you use by name, if you use name in where condition,
Single record.
how can you say that?
No, sir.
No, the
How can you say that name is unique in the table? Employee ID 100 will have a name Srinu. Employee ID 104 may have same name, right? Yes or no? Employee ID
Yes.
100 name is Sinu. Is there any rule that employee ID 104 name should not be Sinu? If you observe in a company, many employees might have same name, right?
Yes, sir.
That is possible. So here also, if you want to select a exact single record, you cannot do it by name. But obviously, you can do it by phone number in most cases, right? When you are using select single, what you are asking for? I need one record. Right? Now the table will ask you. So you are asking me one record, one exact record. Tell me, what is that exact record you are looking for? Right? Then how can you provide? In most cases, we need to use a primary key field. When you are using select single, what is mandatory? You need to use primary key
Primary.
field in where condition. Hey, I need this specific record. Employee ID 101. Can you find multiple records by employee ID 101 or 102? No. They are unique because it's a primary key, right? So what is mandatory when you are using select single? Passing
you primary.
primary key in the where condition. This is the select single syntax. Select single star from table name. This is the table name. Select single star from table name into work area name. Into work area name. Where primary key field condition. Employee ID equal to a specific employee ID. Okay. Now observe here carefully. What I am using after select single?
For
Star. What does that star means? Star means, hey, I want a single
Select
record.
all.
No, don't talk about records when we are working on select single. Record, not records. Select single means a single record. What
all
is star
fields,
means? All
all fields,
fields. I want a single record with all the fields. Fields means employee ID, employee name, phone, and city. A single record with all the fields like this. I will filter this so that you can understand. I will filter by one single employee. Employee ID 100. This one with all the fields. Employee ID, employee name, city, and phone number. I have all the fields here, right? This is select single star. Select single star. What is mandatory in select single? We have to pass a primary key in the where condition. Since we have only one primary key in this table, we are passing only one primary key. If you have multiple primary keys, we need to pass multiple primary keys using and employee ID equal to value and for example city equal to Hyderabad, like that. If you have multiple primary keys, you have to pass multiple fields in the where condition. Okay, clear? If we are not passing all the primary keys, is it going to work or not? For example, employee ID, employee name, both are primary keys, but I am passing only employee ID. Is this select statement going to work or not? Any guess?
It will work.
It will work. Okay, it will work, but it is not the proper way to use a select single statement, right? You are asking for a single record and you are not providing correct details which record you are looking for. When you go to some shopping mall, right, you want a shirt, you want one shirt, right, you want one shirt, and you know that which color it is, what is the size, right, what is the pattern, full sleeves, half sleeves, you know all these details, right? Then you can straight away go to the salesperson and you can ask him, hey, I need a shirt which is in red color, size is medium, sleeves full sleeves, pattern stripes. Now can he provide that shirt or not? Can he provide that exact shirt or not?
yes,
He can provide if it is available, right? He can provide if it is available. He cannot provide if it is not available, right? But he knows, right? The salesperson can understand what are you expecting, right? He can straight away say that, hey, we don't have that shirt, or if that shirt is available, he can provide you. Clear, right? But if you go to the shopping mall and if you ask for a red shirt, then what he will do? He'll get 10 or 20 shirts and keep it in front of you, right? He doesn't know exact requirement, exactly what you are expecting, right? So when you are using select single, you have to pass primary key. That is mandatory. Star means with all the
all
fields.
fields.
Now observe second syntax. Select single, same syntax. Select single, employee ID, phone number. We are not using star here. What we are using here? Individual fields. We are listing the fields here. Employee ID, phone number from table into work area where the where condition using employee ID. Now what is the difference? Here we are asking the table to select a single record with only how many fields?
Four fields.
Only two fields, employee ID and phone number. Now the output will be like this. Employee ID, phone number, right? I'll hide these two so that you can understand. Now the work area data will be like this. It will contain a single record with only two fields. Okay, that is the difference between select single star and select single with required fields. It is always recommended to use only specific fields. Don't use select single star straight away. Always use only required fields to improve the performance of the program. To improve the performance of the program. Okay, clear? Is everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
For select single, what is the data object we use? Work area. Okay, because we are selecting always a single record, right? That's why
Yes,
we
sir.
are using
Yes, sir.
a work area into work area into work area. When you are defining the work area for select single star, you need to define with reference to complete table, right? Like this, like this, with reference to the complete data dictionary table. Data, work area, type, data dictionary table name. When you are using select single star, because you are selecting all the fields, right? But when you are selecting only required fields, observe here for required fields, what you need to do? You cannot
Type
directly
structure.
define with reference to the table.
Table.
You need to create a type structure. You need to create a type structure. And with reference to the type structure, you need to define work area or internal table.
Style.
What is very important? The order. The order of the fields are important. Whatever the order you maintain here in type structure, follow the same order in the select statement also. Okay. If you change the order, what will happen? It will place employee ID in phone number and phone number in employee ID fields. Okay. Is everyone clear about select single?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, observe the select statement. Select star and select with required fields. When we use select star, when we are trying to select one or more records, one or more records. You can select one record or more records from a database table. Which statement we need to use? Select star or select with the required fields. We don't use select, we don't use single here, okay? Because we are trying to select one or more records. What is the syntax to select multiple records? Select star from table name into, there is one difference here, into table. We need to use into table. For work area, we don't use table, but here we need to use a table, into table, internal table name, and the where condition, where city equal to the city value. Is it mandatory to provide primary key here when you are using select statement to select multiple
No.
records? It is not mandatory, but if you use, if you can use the primary key, it will improve the performance of the select statement. Always remember, if we can use as much primary keys as possible in the select statement. It will improve the performance of the select statement. Okay, clear? Primary key is like that important attribute to find that record. Okay, if you don't provide the primary key, what will happen? It has to search for many records, right? It will take time. Now it is same to define the internal table for select star. Same internal table name, type standard table of table, whatever the database table we have. But when we need to select only specific fields, select
Typed it.
fields, and we need to mention those fields in the type structure. Okay, clear? This is old syntax. This is old syntax, but we have a new syntax where you don't need to define type structures to select the required fields. You can directly define the required fields in the select statement. We'll see after understanding this basic syntax. Okay, but why are we discussing even though it is old syntax? Because
It's
there are many projects which are
the
still
same.
using on previous versions of like ECC versions. They are still not using new ABAP syntaxes, right? And I'll tell you one example. Who developed this ERP software? What is the company that is developed this SAP ERP? SAP, right?
IBM.
Sorry, SAP. Come on. Ex-employees of IBM. Okay. So SAP itself is a company. Okay. And their product name is SAP. Okay. Apple is a company. What they do manufacture? Apple iPhones. Similarly, SAP is a company. They
Yes.
designed this SAP ERP product. They do that product development, right? In many of their product developments, right? They still use old syntaxes. They still use old syntaxes in current projects also because they need to create the product which is compatible for all the users, right? One user might be using in advanced S4 HANA version. Few other users might be still using older versions, right? If they need to sell the product, what they need to do? They need to create that product which is compatible for all, right? That's that is the reason that like in many projects of SAP, they are still using old ABAP syntaxes so that they can work in any system. Okay, so we need to understand both. Now let's go to the program. I will define a parameter. What is the use of parameter? What is the use of parameter?
Passing that.
To pass the inputs. Okay, to pass the inputs. What is the data element of this? Oh, looks like this table does not contain data elements. I did not check and copied this. Anyway, what is this? Character 10, right? Type C. If you know the data element, just use the data element. Okay. Now, what is our requirement? First, we'll select only single record. Okay. What is the prerequisite to select a single record? We need a work area, right? Type table name. What I am doing here, I'm trying to select a single record with all the fields. Okay. Now tell me the select statement. Select single star from table name. You can break the select statement. Don't write continuous lines. Okay. Don't write in a single line. Always remember, don't write beyond around 70. Okay. 70 columns. From here, you can observe this. Currently, I'm in 70th column, right? From here, you can split into next line, right? So that you can see all the code in debug mode. Okay, please mute someone. There is some static noise. Select single star from table name into which one? Work area. And what is necessary here? A where condition. Where empid equal to which one? Parameter. Whatever the employee ID provided by the user. Okay. Now, what is the primary key in this table? Employee ID table, only employee ID, right? So we are passing employee ID. It is accurate. For example, there is one more primary key, employee name. What you need to do? You need to use that one also. And emp underscore name equal to some name. You can provide the constant value like this. Like that, you have to use and statement. Okay, to pass the multiple fields in the selection where condition. Since this is the only primary key, you don't need to use any other. Now, how can you say that this select statement is success or failure? How can you know that? By using sub rc.
That's what
If sy hyphen sub rc equal to 0, then that means select statement is successful. That means whatever the value you passed, like that employee ID, that is available in the table. If it is not equal to 0, what that means? Not equal to 0. That means whatever the value you are passing here, that record is not available in the table. So select statement did not select any data into work area. Okay. So usually we check for equal to 0. Success scenario, if it is 0, then we'll just display the data. What is the work area name? EMP data. Okay. If it is successful, we are displaying the output. If it is not successful, how can you handle that condition? If it is not successful, else. What is else means? Else means other than 0, any other value. Because we are already checking for 0 here, right? Apart from 0, whatever the value it is, what does that mean? It did not select any data. We'll display that output, right? No data available for the, or no data available. That's it. Okay. Activate. I'll keep a breakpoint here at the select statement. What is everything complete according to the code? Like, please observe. Did we complete all the steps? Are we missing anything? We defined a parameter, right? For parameter, what is required? Selection text, right?
selection.
You need to maintain the selection text. employee ID. Now execute. Provide one employee ID 100 and execute. Now debugger is triggered. Now we are at the select statement. The controller is at the select statement. Now if you press F5, it will execute line by line. So what is our input? Employee ID 100. Now press F5 and observe the sub RC. What is the sub RC value? It is 0. And observe the work area. Is there any records in the work area? Yeah, there is one record in the work area. Yes. Now it will display the output. Now let me pass incorrect employee 500 that is not available in the table. Execute. What will happen? Employee ID is 500. F5. You can also use these keys F5, F6, F7 and F8. Press F5. What is the sub RC? Sub RC value is 4. That means whatever the input you provided, that is not available in the table, right? Now it will go to else part. It's going to else part and display that particular messages. For these kind of messages, right, we use a different statement, message statement. We'll check that in the tomorrow's session, how to use message statements. Okay, is everyone clear? Now we'll create select statement to select only required fields. Here I am selecting all the 5 fields, but I don't want all the 5 fields to be used in the program. There is no requirement to use all the 5 fields. So to improve the performance, what I can do, I can use only required fields. But how can you decide whether you need to go for select star, select single star, or select single individual fields? How can you decide that?
Number of records.
Not number of
Detail.
records. For example, if you want only employee ID and employee name, if you want only employee ID and employee name, these 2 fields, only these 2 fields data you need. You need to know employee ID and its corresponding name. That's it. You don't need to know about city, phone number, and salary. At the time, do we need to use select single star or select single employee ID and employee name? If we need to use only these 2 fields, so we don't need to use select single star. We don't need to select all the 5 fields. You can simply use select single
Select.
employee ID and employee name, because you need to use only those 2 fields. For example, I need to use 4 fields: employee ID, employee name, city, and salary. I'm using 4 fields, right? Now, which one we need to use? Do we need to use select single star or select single 4 individual fields?
Select a single.
Select single star or individual fields?
Detail.
Select a single individual fields.
Individual fields. Okay, because we are not using all the fields of the table, so we can select only 4 fields. But observe one thing. Let's say there is a table with 100 fields. Let's say there is a table with 100 fields and you are using only 10 fields of that table. Now, do we need to use select single star or select single individual fields?
Sub to single individual.
Individual fields, because we are using only 10% of those fields, right? There are 100 fields, but we are using only 10 fields. It is only 10% of the table fields we are using. So to improve the performance, we can use select single individual fields. Let's say we are using 95 fields of the table. Let's say we are using 95 fields of the table. Almost 95% of the table fields we are using. Now, in this case, do we need to really use select single individual fields?
No.
You can use, but there is no use because you are selecting almost all the fields. 90% of the fields you are already selecting, right? There is no meaning in using individual fields, mentioning individual fields in your select statements. There is no use because you are using almost all the fields, right? You can conveniently use a select single star. Okay, so that calculation you have to do. If you are using more than 90% of the fields, right, you can go for select star, but you are using only 60% or 50% or less than that, don't use a select star, use only select individual fields. Okay, clear? Everyone clear?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
now we'll use required fields. What is the prerequisite to do that? First we need to define a type structure. Types begin of some ty underscore emp data, comma, and list out the fields what you are trying to select. I need employee id, type, data element. Since we don't have data element in this table, I'm using the relevant data type. Usually we use data elements. And I want to know his phone number or his salary. I don't want other data. I just want to know the employee salary and sorry, only employee salary. Decimal, right? What is the data type we need to use here? P, packed decimal 10, length 10, and what are the decimal places? Decimals 2. End of ty underscore. If you have data element, you don't need to mention all this length and everything. But always remember, whatever you are using here, that should be compatible with the table field. Okay, whatever the parameter you are defining, that should be compatible with the table field. Always remember that. Now instead of table name, what you are going to use here? Instead of table name, what you are going to use here? Data, ls underscore emp data, type, ty underscore emp data, comma. Sorry, I don't have internal table, right? That's it. Now write your select statement. Select single emp id
Salary
salary
from
from same remaining are same. Okay, uncomment this. Now we are selecting one record with these two required fields. Order is important. Whatever the order you mention here, you have to use the same order. If you use different order, is it going to throw any error? Let's try. We'll change the
no
order. We'll change the order. Check the syntax. What it is saying? It is not compatible with the employee ID. It is not compatible with the employee ID. Which one? The table field. Because we are using decimal, right? This is decimal, right? That's why it is displaying the error. That's why it is displaying the error. If you use character type, it won't display any error. Let me show you. Since it's a decimal value, it is comparing with the table employee ID field and displaying the errors. But if you use character, right? Let me change it to character. Type C. It won't throw any error. Again, it is showing the error. It is showing the error because it is character type and we are using in place of salary. If both fields are character type, right, it won't display any error because it is a decimal type. That's why it is displaying the error. If both are character types, it won't display any error. That's why you need to make sure the order. Let me change the order. Let me show you this. Instead of salary, I'll take the other field, city. I'll comment this. What is the length of the city? 30. Type C. Now, in place of employee ID, I'll use city. Now check the syntax. Now there is no error. Because this order is different, this order is different. But when you execute the statement, right, it will give incorrect data. Let me try to execute. Breakpoint, execute. Let me enter 100. F5, subar is 0. Let me check the work area data. So what it did, in place of employee ID, we have city. In place of city, we have employee ID, right? So that's why order is very important. Is everyone clear? Let me change.
Yes, sir.
So this is select single. Now let's try select data into internal table. Okay, select data into internal table. Let me create a new program. iTab. iTab is nothing but some internal table. Let's assume. Executable program. Save. I'm saving it in the local object for now. Now what is my requirement? I need to select employee data. The data might be single record or multiple records, because here my requirement is I need to select the records by city. I want to know the number of employees there in the city, right? I want to select all the records from a particular city, Hyderabad. We can expect multiple records, right, in that condition. Or I need to select employees whose salary is greater than 10,000. Whose salary is greater than 10,000. In this case, can we expect single record? Can we
No,
always expect single record in these conditions? If we use the
no,
city or salary, we might have
no,
more than one record, right? In such cases, can we use work area?
no.
No, we have to use internal table. Data, use some naming convention. LT means local table, I can say. Type standard table of use complete table reference. Now select star from table name into table. This is important. Most of the times beginners will do this mistake. Even not only beginners, experienced people also, they forget this table statement. They forget this table statement when they are using internal table. Into table, which one? L, lt underscore emp data,
Yeah.
where emp id equal to, I'll define the parameter p underscore emp id. If we use this where condition, if we use this where condition, how many records we can expect every time? Because we are using employee ID in the where
One.
condition, only one. Okay. In this case, we can expect only one record. So is it really required to use internal table for this?
No.
No, we can go for
No.
work area, right? In this scenario. But if you know, if you are sure about the primary key, there is only one primary key and you are passing only one, that same primary key here, no other fields. Then you don't need to use internal table. You can go for the work area. Okay. So when we go for internal table, let's assume, sorry, type character, I think length 30, 30. See, always use data element here. Okay. Because I have selected the wrong table without data elements. So here, where, sorry, where is already there, where city equal to this one. Now can we expect multiple records or not by each city?
Yes.
Then if sy hyphen sub rc equal to 0, that means at least one record is selected, at least one record is selected. Then display the output. Since we are using CL demo output, it is directly displaying the internal table data. But if you want to process this internal table data, what you need to use? Which statement you will need to use to process all the records of this internal table? Which statement we need to use? Loop, right? We can loop the internal table into work area and process the records. Tomorrow we'll see more detailed on that. Else, right, no data available, some message. Okay, if there is no data, we are providing some message. Activate it. To select only required fields, what you need to do? Define a type structure, define the internal table with reference to the type structure, and instead of star, use those individual fields. That's it. Okay. But we can use new ABAP syntaxes. Simply we can uh, select the data without defining any type structures and all. We'll see that new ABAP syntaxes tomorrow. Before that, you should be comfortable on using these syntaxes, select statements. It is taking time. Execute. I did not maintain the text selection text. I'll maintain it later. City, Hyderabad. Execute. So we have two records. Keep a breakpoint. Two records with all the fields. Please observe. Star means it's talking about fields. Do you need to select all the fields or only required fields? Not about the records. Records will depends on the where condition. Depends on your where condition. It can select single record or multiple records. Okay. But what is the very important point to be remembered? Don't select all the fields using select star. Okay. It is very important interview question also. How to improve the performance of the program? We should avoid using select star unnecessarily. Okay. Hey, please observe. If you are using a data element and domain, and inside the domain, if you select the case sensitive option, if you select the case sensitive option for city, you need to provide same value. If it is in uppercase, provide in uppercase. If it is in lowercase, provide in lowercase. Okay, that you have to observe. Otherwise, the select statement will be failed. If you pass in lowercase, it cannot find that value in the database. Always compare your program output with the table data. Is it displaying correctly or not? The debugger is still trying to open the debugger. Server is slow. Anyway, I'll stop this. We have seen the output. Okay. So you know, right? Instead of using table reference, what you need to do to select only required fields, define a type structure and define an internal table with reference to the type structure and follow same order, same fields order in the select statement. Okay, to select multiple records. So I've tried with the city. You can try with other conditions also, other fields conditions also. Okay, so choose one table and create a program on that by using select single and selecting multiple records using internal table. Okay, is everyone clear? Okay, anyway, it is opened. I'll just show it quickly. Types begin of ty underscore data. Let me take some name. Always refer your table. What is the type of employee ID? If you have a data element, use the data element. It is char 10. We have some standard data elements like this char 10. You can also use them. You can also use this kind of standard data elements. Anyway, we'll show that later. C, comma, decimal places 2. Doesn't make sense if you don't use city. Let's use city also. City 30 is the length, I think. Okay. Now instead of star, what you need to use? Only those required fields: employee ID, city, salary. That's it. And we need to change the internal table declaration. Instead of table, we should refer to type structure. That's it. Now execute. Provide the city. F5. Sub-RC is 0. That means it is able to select at least one record. Observe the internal table. Double click. So we have 2 records. How many fields? 3 fields. 2 records with 3 fields. Okay. This is the output. Okay. Is everyone clear? So create a program
Yes,
using
sir.
select single and select star statements, and you have to apply sort, delete adjoint, and delete statements on the on the internal table data. Once if sub r c equal to 0, then sort it. Just apply delete statement or delete adjacent duplicates like this. Okay. Apply these operations so that you'll understand better. Okay. Before displaying the data, try different scenarios. Okay. Okay, tomorrow we'll be discussing new ABAP syntaxes. Okay, how to use new ABAP syntaxes, like using the same like select statements.